Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this next... I was gonna do a thing like make it a surprise which game it was gonna be, but you've probably seen the title of the video, so that would be a pointless exercise. Well, here we are. The Legend of Zelda from 1986. Almost 40 years old at this point. So this is the first step on the journey that follows Mario before 40 and then Mario at exactly 40. I played all the Mario games, the mainline games, and did it. And it was pretty fun. So I've decided to do the same thing again, but with Zelda. You know, especially because who could turn down the success of having over 100 subscribers from, I don't know, 1,000 hours of video. My YouTube channel is probably the lowest ratio of time in to subscribers out, or whatever, however you would put that. Actually, this is kind of helpful to see this, because it's like, oh, well, at least now I know what's in this goddamn game. Triforce. Please look up the manual for details. I guess I should look at the manual. Well, register your name. Whew. I mean, everybody wants to put, like, butt or something, right? I don't think snowman will fit. Oh. Okay, done. Oh, fuck. Already. It's like, where did you start having trouble with Zelda? At the name entry screen? Done. How do I say done? Register. Okay. We did it. Now, my history with this particular game is I made a couple attempts to play it over the years. And a couple years ago, I made my first successful completion of the game. And I should say, you know, if I'm being honest with you, it was with some hints and things because I got pretty frustrated. So something you should know is that I did not have this game as a kid. This is not a game that I have much experience with. So I'm not going to be the person, I don't know, like, because I played it before, I know there is a bush that needs to be burned in order to find a hidden area. However, I don't know which bush. You know, I don't know which rocks can be moved. I don't know these things the way I would know them for some other games, right? I also know from experience that it's important to collect money as you play this game. So I guess that's what I'm doing right now while just sort of wandering. Well, here's the thing. And then I know the basic setup that you've got to defeat X number of temples. Level 1. Okay, so this is probably where I should be, right? You've got to defeat these dungeons in order to sort of progress in the game. I think to get items and, you know, finish and get the Triforce. I also know that you need to get silver arrows in order to defeat Ganon at the end. That's something I remember. And I remember, specifically I remember too from the end, that Ganon's temple or whatever it is like a huge, huge maze. And that was the point, I think, where I most availed myself of assistance, let's call it. Because I basically was like, I am not going to play this 100 times. I just can't do it. Oh, that's right. And the sword shooty outy thing happens when you're full life. So basically, I never have it. But so, what you're watching is going to be a very amateur Zelda player. For, I think, all of the games with the exception of Link to the Past, I've played a couple times and beaten a couple times, probably. It's been a while. As I'm fond of saying. But that's the one I'm by far the most familiar with. We did have Zelda 2. So here's the story with that. My dad had a place in the mountains that we would go to sometimes, and at that place we had like an NES, you know, long into the Super Nintendo era and stuff. Because, you know, it was like, well, it's a second-tier console, but hey, you know, what do you want? It's whatever. And one of the games we had up there was Zelda 2. And I will say that, like, I had no concept of really how to play Zelda 2. You know, I didn't understand, I don't think I really understood what was going on in the game, or like what my objectives were, or like, I think, because, you know, having heard more about it in recent years, I think Zelda 2 has had a bit of a, you know, re-reckoning or something of people saying like, actually, it's not a horrible game. Okay, boomerang. And so as part of that, I think a lot of people have come to think, well, have come to say it's, you know, it's not that bad. And it probably isn't, you know, to be, whoa. Okay, that's the boss, but I think I want to go check out these other areas, because I don't know if there's maybe like heart containers in them. I don't know if that's how this game works, but so anyway, as part of that re-reckoning, I think it's had a lot of resurgence or something, revengeance, and so part of that is I have, you know, through osmosis or whatever, learned that it's like actually it's not that bad of a game, which I'm willing to believe. I will probably die a lot, by the way. Okay. Just so you know, I will be frustrated by it as well. Just in case you were... Whoa. That was a close one. These parts are always weird, because it like turns into a 2D almost thing for a second. Good thing I looked around some more, huh? Should I try and kill these guys in hopes of getting a heart? I don't feel like they're going to give me one, but... I kind of forgot that I had a boomerang already. Idiot. Oh, immediately forgot. I did the one and was like, aha. Okay, so if I continue, I think I have my stuff. And then start. Okay, I have full life here? Oh, because you start with like 3. I think what happens is you start with 3 hearts. So right now that's full life because I've got no, you know, extra hearts yet. But eventually, when I have more hearts, it'll mean starting with no hearts. Or not enough hearts to have shooty sword, unfortunately. These are all just kind of my vague recollections. So anyway, we had Zelda 2, and my impression of it at the time was like, this sucks. I don't know if that impression was totally wrong. Okay. Yes, I went over there. Did I go up? I think I went up, but I don't remember. Okay. This is what I didn't do yet. Eastmost Peninsula is the secret. Okay. I need to write these secrets down so that I remember them. Okay, done. So I'll say this so far. The game does do kind of a good job so far of like kind of walking me through the basics here. Of like, kill all the guys and that might open something, or try pushing a block, or, you know, basically like what I'm going to be doing. Like fighting enemies, going through a dungeon, locating items, etc. So something I'll say to you is, my recollection of it at least, is like, one of the functions that Link to the Past does that I think really kind of improves the game is like, in that game, you know, I enter a dungeon and like every dungeon basically has a medallion or whatever that you're trying to get, a pendant or a crystal or some shit. But it also has an item. And in order to finish the dungeon, you have to, like, get and use the item. And so what that does is it avoids a situation like the one I'm in now is kind of like, well, you know, could I exit this dungeon without the bow and arrow? Probably, right? Because this seems to be working fine. Okay. It's like 10 minutes in, we've got a piece of the Triforce. Not bad, huh? The easiest one, for sure. The most gimme one. Now, I think the temples kind of go in, or the dungeons kind of go in order. So, like, you know, the first one's the easiest, and they get harder and harder as the number goes up. Because something weird about this game is you can enter the dungeons in, you know, kind of whatever order. So it does, it's both interesting and annoying. But, you know, I'll allow it. I think the thing is, so, you know, I was kind of looking, I was like, what's another series I would enjoy? And I didn't honestly think of, oh, okay. Shit. Up the mountain ahead. Zelda's not like a stone cold favorite of mine. I mean, and that's for a variety of reasons, to be honest. Like, I'm not a big fantasy guy. You know, I'm not like a big Lord of the Rings, Dungeons and Dragons guy. Like, I consider myself a fairly nerdy person, but just not in that specific way, I guess. Okay, so this is 5. So I should probably assume that I'm ill-prepared for Dungeon 5, but maybe I'll just see what happens. Died immediately. That's amazing. Alright. Cripes. Oh, I see. There's like platforms I have to walk on there. Let's give this another go. Because I'm here. You know what I mean? Why not? Okay, well, I think that's satisfied my question of whether Temple Dungeon 5 is too hard for me at this juncture. With a resounding yes. Alright. God damn it. I guess, you know, with Mario as well, you know, I picked that initially over Zelda and some others because I think Mario is it's more to my taste as a game. And I think I fear Zelda games in terms of, like, it seems possible that, you know, you can play it for hours and make no progress. You know what I mean? Like, if you just don't know. Like, I think there's some goofy shit in this game where, like, I was just at a pond or something, and if I play a flute, it, like, drains a pond and something happened. There's a bunch of stuff in it that I'm not sure how easy it is to know unless you know. I do think you can, like, find clues throughout the game, kind of like I already did with the up, up, up. I think that's something funny about this game, is like, if you know exactly what you're doing in this game, I bet it takes like a half hour to finish it, right? Like, it's probably not that long of a game. Okay. I want all of these things, and I can afford none. Do I need that shield? Is that the same shield I have? Anyway, so like playing this game, I was like, well, there seems to be a strong potential for meet the old man at the grave. For like, it's like playing Castlevania 2, where it's like, I just don't know how you would possibly know some of the things in that game unless you knew them. And so it's a little bit like, I don't want to spend an hour playing a game where I'm just like lost. Which kind of brings me to, I think I'm going to modify the rules from Mario to this. Because in Mario, I was feeling like, you know, I should be able to do most things. And the idea was to play it using only resources available at the time. And I think with Zelda, I'm going to attempt to do that same thing. But I'm going to be a little more lenient about it. And probably allow myself something like... I haven't totally worked this out, so you'll have to excuse me, but like, what I was thinking of is a rule of, hey, if you play for a full hour and you're just like, you find nothing, you make no progress, then you can look up a hint, you know, to get you going again. Because the other thing is, I know this game is this way, and I know the second game is probably going to be a little impenetrable to me, at least at first. So I don't want to spend, you know, as an adult man, I don't really want to spend like 5 hours playing a game that I'm just kind of spinning my wheels on. See, I think this is where you have to lower the water. Maybe I'll remember a little more of this than I thought. and that'll work to my advantage. That's all you can hope for, right? I think, too, this game, something about the controls just aren't very fluid to me. It's a little bit picky or something. It's like, it feels very on a grid instead of like an 8-direction sort of thing, which it is, I guess. Now, this I know is kind of a maze as well, and it's like you have to go like northeast, southeast, or northwest, southwest. Let's try northwest, south. Because I remember this. Northwest, southwest. I did it. Seems like... See, and here's the thing, is like you get into these more advanced characters, so I'm like fighting for my life against what probably shouldn't be too difficult an enemy. You know, I got the NES Classic and was kind of playing through all the games on it, because, you know, there were a lot that I had missed out on, but there were also a lot that I was like, I just hadn't given them a fair shake because I was a kid, you know, and when you're a kid, you don't really, okay, I remember this is like, you have to push a grave, but I don't know how I would know which one. They all look the same. I probably hadn't given a fair shake as a kid, you know? And, like, what made me feel that way, too, is I played Castlevania and finished that and was like, oh, it's possible. And, like, I played Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, whichever the Nintendo one is, and the Super Nintendo one eventually, and was able to finish it. And I was like, you know, these games are very difficult, but they're, like, doable. And, but I had some experiences replaying these games that were, like, frustrating and did make me think, like, you know, these aren't all super fun and awesome. I mean, I played Metroid, as a kid, but you know, never got anywhere because it was way too hard, and like the sustaining of whatever was so difficult. By the way, that game is like the king of why not have like a 1 million character long password? Like, Jesus Christ, like, it's one of the things I've seen the angry video game nerd talk about that I couldn't agree with more, which is like, couldn't you have like a 4 to 6 character password? Isn't that enough? Like, for your bank is like 8 character password. But to play your saved game on Metroid, it's like 20 characters or something. How does that make any sense? Because, yeah, it's seeming like this game is going to be many, many hours of time invested for me. And so that's the thing, is like, as an adult, you're like, I mean, I enjoy playing games, but I'm like, I don't have... It's not that I don't have time, I don't want to pretend like I'm a busy guy, because if I was a busy... Okay, this rock you can put a bomb on, I think. How do I do that? This rock or one like it. Oh, shit. If I was a more sophisticated recorder of this, I would put a death count on the screen for everybody. Oh, good. Good thing I wasted that. That's suspicious, right? I think for right now, it's kind of like I'm just going to wander a bit and try and collect some money. Probably have to bomb this, because I put my bombs away, so that would only make sense. I don't know how picky this is. None of that worked. Oh, you know what? You do get like a power ring later that lets you move heavier objects or something? Maybe that's what I need. The thing is with these Zelda games too is like, I don't want to shit on them because like, pretending that they're not really good games is just, you know, what's in it for anybody? You know what I mean? And I don't think that. I don't think these are objectively bad games or anything. But I do deeply question, like, this style of gameplay in the modern era, which is like, you can do a lot of wandering without making any progress. I mean, I think the newer ones, like the Tears of the Kingdom and whatnot, are kind of that way as well. Where they're, you know, long games with lots of exploration. However, I think, you know, you can do more things. And there's more, probably a sense of progress, is my suspicion. I mean, I guess I'll find out. You know, in the course of whatever. So anyway, I am gonna be a little bit more allowing of myself to look things up in these games. But also, if people want to make comments and, like, you know, if I'm just totally stuck, please do. Like, totally fine. I wouldn't consider myself totally stuck, you know, like at this point. But I will, believe me, I will let you know. And the other thing is, I think I probably will end up looking up some things if, for example, I reach the end of the game and I'm like, I just can't get through, I need more hearts. And it's like, well, it turns into a situation where I'm trying to find hearts. Do I need to buy arrows? Can I not use the bow until I buy arrows? Is that how that works? Damn it. Wait a minute. What was that? Oh, I see. See, I don't know if that's the shield, because I know I can lose my shield to those round guys. Those, like, hula hoop men. I think there's a secret up along here somewhere. See, another thing that, like, Link to the Past does that I think is a real quality of life improvement for the player is it gives you, you know, it usually shows a crack or something in a wall where you can place a bomb. And so you don't have to sort of go through the entire game just like randomly placing bombs until you get one. What the hell? I just got some rupee and it's still 59. Because I think this thing in here is 60 and that's what I wanted is 1. 1? Okay. Get that candle. Seems like a good thing to have. And I just don't remember a lot of the specifics. And I definitely don't remember this game on the level of like, okay, you do this, then you do this, then you do this. You know what I mean? And I'm just not that good at it. But anyway, like I was talking about playing Metroid. And I think that was one of the worst experiences for me on the NES Classic because that game is like, okay, there's a point at that game where you're like in a hallway with a door on each end. And what you have to do to access the next area is place a bomb like right on the edge of the door that goes into the next room. And what's annoying about that is that this is something that I think you can put in a game as a secret. You know, if you want to put in a super secret area, but this is what you need to do to like progress in the game. This is like main storyline stuff we're talking about here. Not like, you know, super secret time, mainline story. And I found that so frustrating because I was like, what do you do? Like, you just play this game and you just go through and put a bomb on every piece of land in the game? That's what you would have to do in order to find that. I don't know that there's any organic way to find that. But I can't have it yet. Okay, so that's the Master Sword, I guess? Instead of this rusty piece of shit, apparently, that I have now, which does look like a rusty piece of shit. Damn it. I don't want to do this. This game does have a thing I hate, and I think most Zelda games, certainly the early ones, have the low life alarm, which I'm always like, you could just do that for a period and then stop. That would be fine. I think I'm aware. I think I'm acutely aware that I'm low on health most of the time. Because here's the other thing, like, when you're a shitty player like me, you play a significant portion of the game. Beep, 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 beep. Whenever people complain about Yoshi's Island and the crying Mario baby, I'm always like, what about Zelda? What about Metroid? What about these other games that do just as bad, if not worse? That was a dick move. That guy popped up right in front of me. That was unavoidable. This seems like a very likely time for me to die. Ah! Is that the bush? Do I burn it with a candle? Damn it. So yeah, I mean, that's the thing about this game, is it's like, it's very imperfect in that way, where I think you run around and like, at some point you may figure out like, oh, burning a bush does something. But then you're like, look at this. Look at all these bushes. Here's the thing, like, ultimately with this, I think this is a great game and game idea for, you know, what was it, 1986? Because, like, every kid had this game, you know what I mean? I was a rare exception of a kid who didn't have this game, and so you'd go to school and everyone was talking about this, and they would be like, did you find XYZ, you know? Or like, if you were stuck, you could ask another kid, and like another kid might be like, oh yeah, I'll come over, I'll show you, you know, this secret thing I found. And so it was kind of almost like there was this network of kids all playing the same game, and that was kind of like the way to really finish this game, was to rely on, you know, other kids. Which is, I think, a cool concept. I mean, I don't know how intentional that was. But it worked out that way, and I do think it works. I really need to find some more hearts because this is getting pathetic. I think it works because, you know, as you go through the game, you don't have to find every secret that way. You can find one, another kid finds one, and it's like, well, there are enough opportunities to have happy accidents between, you know, a whole class of kids, let's say. Upper class, that is. There are enough opportunities to just have sort of accidental successes that eventually you might, you know, succeed. And like, as sort of almost a group, as a generation, this game became not that difficult. But I was totally out of that loop because I didn't play this game, and I played it, you know, when I was like in my 30s. No one else was playing this game, so here were my choices. I could basically talk to somebody who had played the game, which was like everybody who was my age, but, you know, they knew everything. And for them, this was like elementary shit. And for me, it was like, I can't find anything, I can't do anything, I don't know what's going on. So yeah, I think, you know, it just kind of depends how cryptic the thing is. And like with the Metroid situation, for me, what like really turned me off was just like, it's so cryptic, but also it's cryptic in a way that, you know, you have to engage with this really cryptic thing in order just to finish the game. Not to like 100% the game, not to find some cool secret, just to finish. And maybe this game too is like not as protective of the player. In other words, like, I kind of think later games are a little more helpful to the player or protective of the player in that it's like, you usually can't access areas you're not ready for, or like you can't really... I think a later game would not let you fight Ganon without, you know, the silver arrows. Like, it would just be like, let's make it so that you can't really get there without having the arrows. But I'm gonna try and be smart and at least buy stuff as I go, or like collect money as I go. Because that was definitely the mistake I made the first time I played this, was just kind of avoiding fights because I was like, what's the point? Alright. But now I know, it's like, no, you can't avoid the fights, you gotta fight the fights so that you can earn, baby. So yeah, it's a weird, like, I have a weird feeling for this game just because I think it's a great idea, and I think in practice it actually worked out in a kind of a wonderful way. And you know, I think it did help cement video games as like a primary entertainment for people my age, my generation. Because I think we all had such good experiences, you know, like playing games like this with friends and like discovering secrets together and stuff like that. Like, I really think that was a big part of the success of these early games, and this game in particular. But when you're playing it yourself like I am, you know, it doesn't necessarily retain that charm or advantage. I already have what I need, kinda. I don't think it works in the outdoors the way it does in the dungeon, where there are like places I'm supposed to kill all the bad guys, but it's possible. But yeah, so I'm like, should I just burn all those bushes and see what happens? Don't know. I don't know. Oh shit. Too many guys in here. Starting to think too, this game functions a little like Castlevania did, where I had to learn that like it's an action game, but the action part is kind of a trick. Wow. Amazing. The action part is kind of a trick, and it's actually Castlevania is a little bit. I think the player benefits from being more methodical and treating each sort of screen or whatever as its own, you know, puzzle. I think that works a lot better. And I'm kind of thinking that might be the case with this game as well, which is like, I think of this as like an action game, but that's probably when I most get myself in trouble. Well, that's a chunk. I'm assuming that stays, so like I could visit this over and over, maybe? Farm? Well, let's just see. If I go right now... Well, the bad guys didn't repopulate, so I'm gonna assume that the rupees didn't repopulate, right? Seems unlikely. Ah! Oh, grapes. Ah! A map would be helpful. Do you think there's a map in the instruction manual? I have a feeling there may be. Okay, so if I can go back to that area where I just was, then I can discover maybe that's a quick way to get 40 rupees, which would be pretty handy. Kind of just praying that it works multiple times. But, old Nintendo NES is a cool beast. At almost every turn, so not banking on it. I'm trying to remember where I was, but I think it was kind of in this direction. Maybe up a little. Just as far as where the little green guy on the map was. Kill you. And it's like, great, here we are again. Beep, beep, beep. Have the banana. This could also be a challenging series to play, because I'm not sure which ones, you know, are available to... You know, Nintendo has an interesting relationship. Oh, okay. Well, guess I can try this again. Okay. That was the plan, was to figure out where it was, and then touch only that one, if I could. The secret is in the tree at the dead end. I think that's the bush that I have to burn. It was funny because one of the games I played, you know, on the NES Classic, which we're on right now, was the Castlevania 2, right? And that's like a frustrating game, as many have pointed out, because it is so cryptic and so it kind of doesn't, not only doesn't help you out, it's kind of actively resisting the player in terms of like what the people in the village tell you to do is sometimes wrong. And sometimes it's hard to tell if it's a translation issue or if it's you know, intentionally screwing with the player, basically. Ah. Oh, God. Okay. You know what? Pete needs to not play that. It's a foolish endeavor for me. Because, you know, I go back a second time because I'm like, well, maybe I can make up the cost of the first time. I really hate these guys out in the sea. Show this to the old woman. Okay. I feel like the old woman was somewhere off to the left side of the map. I will say I'm finding this to be a little friendlier than I remember, just as far as, like, they are giving me some hints. You know, like the tree at the end of the lane or whatever. That was a legitimate hint. Oh, damn it. It does feel like the controls are just weird in this game, where I feel like a lot of times it's not doing exactly what I want it to. Link isn't, you know. And there's nothing quite like feeling that way, where you're like, the game is not doing, I can't make him do what I want him to do, is not a good feeling when you're playing a game. Like when you die and you feel like it wasn't really your fault. That's one of my pet peeves for sure. I'm gonna be honest with you too and say I think a lot of people like these games as adults because they seem like good games to play when you're very stoned. Just in terms of like, well, you can kind of go for a wander and it's sort of low stakes, you know? Like you can't really, I don't think you can really like soft lock yourself in this game so much because you just die and then start over. And you don't really lose anything that you've gained. Okay, so I already did this. Like Like, doesn't this look like something? It is a game, too, where it's like the enemies are definitely... You're kind of outgunned by a lot of the enemies, especially as you get into some of the later dungeons, I think. Like, they're so much faster and, like, more capable than you are. Maybe to a degree that makes the game a little less fun. It's tough to balance a game, you know, and to have a character who's, like... puts up a good fight, but it's not easy? Not too easy? But I think this one maybe goes, you know, the wrong direction on that. Or too hard. Steers the wheel too hard in a direction. Bastard. Sometimes this reminds me of doing a crossword puzzle. Poonmaster Flex and I do crossword puzzles on the weekend, and like, something that sucks when you're doing a crossword puzzle is when you're super stuck. And you don't really have much to go on, and you're like, whatever. And then you start looking at the same clue over and over, because you're trying to figure it out. You know what I mean? You're like, there's got to be something. And you're like, oh, what's 54 down? And then you look at it and you're like, I've looked at this clue 30 times. You know what I mean? And like, I keep forgetting that that's what it is. And then every time I look at it again, I'm angry all over again. Because I'm like, how the fuck am I supposed to get that? And that's kind of how these games feel to me sometimes. Is like, you know, I go in the same cave for the 5th time in this play session. And I'm like, okay. I know it's not in there. As soon as I get in the cave and the dialogue comes up, I'm like, nope. But here I am. Nonetheless. If I'd have known that I was going to struggle this much to find the next thing, I probably would have stayed in that 5th dungeon longer and just tried to make it work. I think the burning bush thing is around somewhere. I think it's around somewhere. I think it exists. This one. That's the one I think it is. But didn't I try that already? See, I don't know how picky it is, you know? This is 8. Oh, come on. Put me on the other side. Real dick move. You think that'll stay revealed, or will it be obscured once again? Like the next time I play. I mean, I know where it is. I did find it again, so that is a big plus. The guy does kind of say, he gives you a hint. I mean, he says it's a tree, which I would say, you know, anyone I've ever heard talk about this game calls it a bush, because it's obviously much smaller than Link, and Link is not huge. Do I need to buy arrows? Like, what happens if I... Oh, I see. I can't use it. Okay. I guess I do need to buy arrows. Fine. Because my understanding was, I think, now I shoot I shoot this, but it's like a rupee for each. Yeah, okay. For each shot. And there's a raft. You take that out to a temple. And I guess ostensibly to that heart as well. Damn it. Yeah, because you get on a raft. And then it just like shoots you out to that temple. I don't have a raft. I think it's something you find in a dungeon. I think another weird thing is like, you know, about the way this game has aged is that like, I think it would be really weird to play a game for like 5 hours, you know, back in the day. Like, especially for an adult to play a game for a super long period like that, I think would be uncommon. And now I think a game that, you know, takes 5 hours to play through is not unusual. Or like for an adult like me to play you know, couple hours of video games on the weekend is like not an unusual thing. Because this game gets a little repetitive. Especially the music, which is great, but you know, when you hear the same loop as many times as you do in this game, I don't know how long the loop is, but it seems not super long. I can be as, you know, friendly as possible to it. Not overly long. Well, hello. That was a very lucky first guess. Okay, so this is also level 5. Boy, this seems a lot like the one I was just in, the level 5. I do have a candle now, though. Can't use it again. It's candle like once per room. Oh, I see. That jerk has the key. Well, can we get him if he's like right there? Crap. I don't think I have any chance in this room. This is not. I don't really want to burn a bunch of arrows, but... Oh. Okay. Worth it. Worth it. Good to know. That actually works great on those jerks. What just happened? How did I get that this time? Well, whatever. I wonder if I have the raft, if I can just walk over that. Dig Dogger hates certain kinds of sound. What is Dig Dogger? Okay, so I can't do this yet, huh? Okay, wait a minute. But that was like the exact same thing as going in this door and then going in the other entrance. It was the same thing? How does that make any sense? Why is that way? Whatever. You know what, man? Whatever. A little stingy with the pickups here. I feel like this should be a more lucrative activity, killing all these guys. Across there. Can't. Should I hug this coastline and see what happens? Okay, that's the first temple is over there. Established. Gotta be something here, right? It's just too weird looking. Damn it. Oh, I see. You can't even, like, burn infinite bushes. You have to, like... Alright, maybe I should head towards the graveyard area. See if I can find the old woman to give the thing. The love note. It's a dangerous thing for me to play this game that way, to like say, okay, I'm gonna head towards the graveyard and like call my shots. Because it's a good chance I won't actually end up in the graveyard. Despite what I'm trying to do. And then, you know, it makes it impossible for me to pretend like I was like, oh, whatever happens, like, I meant to do that. Meet the old man at the grave. Can I guess that's not the old woman I give it to. I can't afford it. Well, I guess that's something accomplished there. Still have this stupid note. I was hoping for way too much that would be a dungeon, right? That's unrealistic. Alright. Is this Dig Dogger? It would make sense if this was Dig Dogger, right? See, this is a good example where I'm like, I kind of just want to start touching these guys so that I can try and find what is almost certainly an entrance beneath one of them. But, like, I should really try and kill these guys first, making that a safer proposition. Shit. Oh, there's the ring. Some meat. Oh, I'd like that. I'd like that ring. 250 bucks, huh? Kinda in the upper left corner for 250. You can get the ring. I think, if I remember, maybe it like makes damage, you know, half as devastating or something. Which is definitely something that I could use. If, you know, damage hurts me half as much. Boy, is that a Pete item. Yeah, I need like a flute. Drain the swamp, as they say. None of these guys are giving me anything. These guys suck. Okay. North. West. South. These guys too hard for me right now. I'm gonna ignore them. Maybe it was like there was another grave that's not even in this area or something. Could that be what I'm remembering? Oh shit. Oh, that one didn't have a ghost come out. Okay. Something hurt me, that's bullshit. Okay, well I can't even use this yet. So I found 2 better swords, but I can't use them. Oh god. Like touch every single one and see what happens, I guess. Okay. God damn it. Okay. Fuck. Damn graveyard. Graveyard of my hopes and dreams. Good one, Pete. Good one. Oh, I suppose I have to die before I can save, huh? It was kind of cool that you could save your game on this game. It was like that was kind of a novel concept to me. Of like, oh, you could like pick up where you left off? That's amazing. Of course you get a fairy when you're like really not invested in staying alive any longer. And it's like, have a fairy. What? My controller was not responding. He was just walking left. And wouldn't stop. Oh man. No! He's doing it again. Oh god. Then he stopped. Because now I could be hit, so that was the time to stop. When I was in danger. Good lord. Damn it. Again. Fairy. Yeah, I'm not really invested in your life. Oh, cool. There we go. Okay, well, it's my first hour. Not gonna say it was totally unproductive, but you know, I'm 12 of something. 12 out of something of something. Hopefully this, you know, picks up and I get on a roll. That's kind of what I'm hoping will happen, but I guess we'll just have to see. But you know, hey, welcome to Zelda at exactly whatever the hell age I am now. I haven't come up with a cute name for this. You know, Zelda before 65, maybe, based on, you know, the current speed. We'll see you next time.